I wish good things to you who is watching this. I am Alexey, and this is day 5 of round 4 of the Carcassonne Champions League 2026, where 60 of the world's strongest players are competing for the ultimate prize over the course of 10 weeks. We are approaching the penultimate round, the decisive events for whoever is going to qualify for the playoffs. However, today's events have a slightly different nature. It's more of a match of honor because the two players today are closer to the bottom of the tournament table. The Austrian expert with the screen name El Durino. They've had some close calls against the world champion Sang Yuqin and the Polish superstar and King of Carcassonne champion Mateusz Pozlewicz, but they ended up succumbing to them, as well as to the Korean newcomer with the screen name Cherry Papa, and they are very close to the bottom of the tournament table. You could expect that at the beginning of the tournament simply due to their rating, and I think it's the first participation in the league, and it is generally the first participation of Austria in the league, despite 6,500 games of experience and a rating of over 500. When I talk about peak rating, so of course they're an expert, they know what they're doing, but they are up against 37 masters in the league, so this maybe is not such big of a shocker. What is more of a surprise is the standing of their opponent today, Sergio Antolinez, with the screen name dremkad of Colombia, the semi-finalist of the 2024 Mind Sports Olympiad Grand Prix, is doing actually even worse because his tiebreakers are a little bit worse. So he lost to Angostur and to a 3 club, both masters, of course, lost against Pavel Hudec. So had some tough opponents, but so did El Dorino. So a bit of a surprise that Sergio is not going to qualify. But of course, this match still matters for several other things. One, of course, is honor and the joy of having won at least something. The second is the absolute standing in the Champions League will affect the country rankings, not just the rankings of the individual player. And so the better the rating of a country, the better conditions it is going to have for the next year's Champions League. So there's still something worth fighting about. And of course, it can still be a beautiful and interesting and close game of Carcassonne, or match of Carcassonne rather, because it is a best of 3. So that's what we're hoping today. Sergio, as you can see, has a rating of 674, a peak of around 720 or 750, I don't quite remember. So Sergio should be the favorite. However, anything can happen in Carcassonne, and the Austrian did come close against MTU and against the world champion as well. So maybe this is the time where they actually manage to deliver the upset. I believe the game should be starting sometime soon, like within the next few seconds or so. And it indeed has. Look at the numbers, 476 and 674, as if players cooperated about their ratings. This, of course, is just a serendipity. In case you couldn't tell, I like numbers. Alrighty, so the Austrian's going to play with blue, which is not easy on my eyes, based on the color of the Austria's flag. Blue certainly would suit better for the middle stripe of Colombia. Dremkad is the one who's going to play red. Play some people on this road. Red is also equalizing the initial city of El Dorino over here. It is the Austrian, however, who is going to have the starting player advantage until the end of the game, so slightly better probabilities throughout. Start a new city, but it is Sergio who gets the first points on the scoreboard. 4 of them, to be exact, for this road. Now it's an interesting tile here for the Austrian. This is certainly a move I was thinking about. He goes for the self-invasion, which I think is maybe a little bit extra. Maybe I would go for the road first and then try to self-invade. But this is a very, very principled way of playing. This is saying, you know, either I'm going to complete the city and get myself a sizable advantage, and this is what he's trying to do, or you're going to block this square and then block 2 of my meeples, and then I'm going to just probably lose sometime soon. So it should be one of these 2 outcomes. Self-invasion openings are always super, super fun to watch. Oh, hi, Ice Maze. Said the dude still has a chance. He could still reach 11th place at best. For real? Can you qualify with 2 wins? How on earth is that possible? Well, thank you for correcting me, but honestly, I didn't even bother checking the math because I thought it was so obvious that you need at least 3 wins to qualify. Well, isn't that interesting? Well, I guess it would require the Austrian to win 2-0 twice, this match and the next match, and then for something favorable to happen. So whilst acknowledging this possibility, maybe for us this is not the main reason we're following this match, it's mostly for pure entertainment value of beautiful moves being made. Such as this one. Very painful move to deal with if you're the Austrian, so Sergio kind of built up from the top, leaving only 2 tiles that fit into the square. Also, Duderini already needs the same type of tile, sort of kind of over here. Yeah, this is a very nice idea to just keep restricting your opponent from different sides, and from what I can tell from experience, blue does not finish city here more often than 20% of the time, and even that is a bit generous. Hi Nalaheim, hi Not Peter. Yeah, so dremkad keeps blocking, making it even harder to finish the city, but a lovely tile for Duderino. There is a clear best move here. Let's see if the Austrian knows it. So the clear best move is actually quite simple. We go over here, we start a new city, we leave the second city cap unexposed. Yep, exactly, they know this. We build up this city indirectly, and we also protect the square indirectly, but unfortunately it is not going to be good enough, as this square is in fact permanently blocked. And these 2 meeples are trapped. So the advantage of red is immeasurable, I guess you could say. There are still chances for the Austrian, but in order for anything good to happen, I think they would need to equalize the meeple count first, and they're trying that, restricting both of red's squares to city plus road tiles. It's actually not easy at all to finish both of these cities. And there are some interesting scenarios how a road Dorito is drawn like a triangle tile, and then this square is blocked. And so 2 meeples of red are blocked here, and then blue's 2 meeples suddenly look pretty good because they have additional squares, how they can accumulate points. Alright, so what is blue going to do? We can see that red is starting a new city quite safely, far away from everything. Blue probably wants to go here just to get an extra point, but maybe this move is better. Yeah. Ooh, I don't like leaving roads like this. It seems to be excessively panicky. Maybe just going over here would have been nice. And then from Sergio, I don't get this move either. Why not just take 4 points? Yeah, both players being a bit... I was going to say Sergio's being a bit conservative, and Duderino's being a little bit loosey-goosey here. A really, actually strong critique against Sergio for not going over here and not taking the 4 points. I think this might explain their tournament performance so far. You know, like sometimes not everybody is at their best all their time, and so far I have been making mistakes myself in the Champions League. I am currently 2 out of 4, and maybe Both of my lost matches were somehow winnable, at least the one which I lost against the Dutchman, Meeple over People. Anyway, enough about myself. You're gonna hear that still many, many times. What about these guys? Dudorino is doing the right thing that you need for a comeback. So trying to do some more high variance things, right? So this is fine. Now he's gonna protect here or here. The standard move in this situation would have been to actually continue from this side, blocking the square and just having safer cities. But the idea behind this move is to still have the opportunity to get a sequence of tiles like this one that would help blue overrun this big city. Lovely, lovely stuff. In the meantime, red continues an 8-pointer. Dudorino now needs to probably invade the city or do something about that one. This is a little bit too weak, albeit understandable. A nice monastery spot would work wonders here, especially for blue. Yeah, blue is not doing all that badly. Again, 75% to get this tile. The city would be like 16 points or something like that. There's still 2 tiles that fit into this square. Ideally, we want to take care of that. Okay, that's an interesting one. Again, do we go here and invade the city, or do we just take quick points, just take 2 points here, and then try to continue our city? This move is definitely not the move to play, and if you are gonna do it, which is justifiable, at least meeple this. Yeah, you really don't want to leave around shielded tiles just like this, because what you think red is gonna do? Red is gonna go over here and simply start a new city with 2 shields, or maybe not. I have no idea what both players are doing. Red now voluntarily breaks his own city. Like, you can't possibly complete that. There are no road Doritos remaining, so the only tile that fit into the square is a horse tile, but then how are you going to continue your city? Yeah, honestly, Sergio's delivering quite hard here. Definitely, I would say Mr. Dude is making moves which make more logical sense. So even the self-invasion, like, it wasn't bad or anything, it just didn't work out. You know how it is, it's nobody's fault, just didn't work out. So 18 points for Blue's city. Blue is suddenly ahead on the scoreboard. We're equal on meeples. Red with a wonderful move, actually. Not necessarily the best move, but a wonderful move. Blocking this field for 9 points, which either side can claim. Blue decides to finally meeple the shielded tile, which they should have done a long time ago, and this makes a lot of sense. They're also exposing this square, and now Sergio, to his horror, need to realize that it's actually impossible to protect the square. In order to do so, you would need a city tile explicitly. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, this square is blocked, but it wasn't really important. I guess the bigger deal is that this square is now under pressure. And Blue now has the first big decision of the game. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a really good one. This was one of the moves. The other alternative was to go here, try to sacrifice your meeple and simply go for the 12-point city. That was also doable. But I like the idea of just protecting this, trying to finish your monastery. Anyway, this is lovely, and it's paid off. Nice. So 6-point monastery over here. Sergio, again, I think is being a little bit too nonchalant with this road. Like, these 2 meeples which are blocked, they're now scoring. Like, it is possible for red to lose. It is theoretically possible for red to lose. What I would have done as red here is just gone here, like, not allowed the easy completion of that city with a farmer. Because again, what's the greatest threat in Carcassonne? The greatest threat on Carcassonne is drawing a city cap, finishing a city, dropping a farmer. then maybe getting a road, and then another monastery, and invading over here. Like, just with this one move, red could have prevented a massive scoring onslaught worth of like 20 points or even more. It's just that blue didn't get the tile. Blue did get a tile, using it to block the square, which honestly is not something I would have even bothered. There was only one tile that was suitable there anyway. And as blue, I might have considered going over here and dropping a farmer, or just developing my city somehow, because Sergio can now do a lot of damage. Like, they can go here, for example. This would be probably the best move with the triple city. They might meeple it, they might not meeple it, I might not even bother. And then this would paralyze everything, paralyze the monastery, this city over here. There are actually no Doritos left at all, so no triangle tiles with 20 tiles remaining. So it will be quite difficult to get that meeple back. Then very few road plus city tiles. But instead, wrong prioritization from the Colombian. This move, of course, is understandable, trying to block the square. But this allows now blue to finish this city, drop a farmer, invade the field, and get another monastery. I think this is something that the Colombian Master is overlooking. Like, there are 5 monasteries still in the deck. So a stack of monasteries is super, super likely. And it would just advance blue's game so far that I don't even know what red could do. Yeah, because now, like, what does red do with this straight line? Here, trying to block something. Most of the time, it only gives 1 extra point to the hypothetical blue monastery over here. Red, on the other hand, could hope for a road monastery here for 7 points, building this up, then maybe starting a big field. Yeah, you know what? It's not crazy for red to drop a farmer here straight away. Seems a little bit excessive because this square is kind of vulnerable, right, from both sides. But because blue just has such a big chance to draw a monastery in his next move, it's a 25% chance to draw a monastery, like, immediately. Blue might not have time to block this square, and so if red goes like this, red might draw another road tile, penetrate with 1 more farmer over here, and so on and so on. And he's doing something similar. Instead of dropping a farmer straight away, he's doing some indirecty things. And Mr. Dude does not draw a monastery, but draws something comparable. Lovely tile, several good uses for it. So let's walk through the moves. This is one of them, actually. This is a very nice spot. I thought he might not go for it. This, of course, is 1 point, but 2 additional extras. One, it is protects the square a little bit, and so there are now quite a lot of double monastery combos that fit here, or something like a curve road monastery and so on. Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. And most importantly, of course, there's still 1 splitter tile, which sets up a 12-point city and a meeple back. So Sergio meeples a 4-point monastery to try to do something about this. Now, blue needs to be not too focused on the splitter, but just play the, general vibe of the game. We just go here for a normal monastery. We still have 2 roads that go here and 2 road monasteries that go here. So this meeple would likely return in blue's hand. Yeah, I guess we can use the roads here and the Romos in this 8-point area. Blue might be tempted to go over here, but this splitter threat is not worth it. And I think it's a big miss not dropping a farmer like this, because this monastery builds up very quickly. And it seems like something just not worth being afraid of, really, when it comes to the blockage of this monastery. Maybe blue decides that there are some other things that blue can do. So, for example, going over here seems quite powerful. That would kill off this monastery spot. And then it would also not allow this red farmer to eventually penetrate over here and create a big field with the red majority. And you could even consider dropping a blue farmer over here at the risk of getting blocked, but this certainly would be something entertaining. So let's see if the Austrian has any other ideas in mind. And in the meantime, I want to read the chat a little bit. Yeah, Nalaheim also criticizing the field Dorito. Indeed, the self-block is nothing short of a hallucination. Hi, Matt. Noticing the splitter threats. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, blue plays a move which does something, right? It creates an attacking platform against this square. This here spatial idea was quite difficult to see, and this move at least forced an extra point, right? Because this meeple was under pressure, dremkad decided to recover it instead of possibly going over here for 2 points. Duderino now has another super creative move, which I kind of want to see. Of course, we can always take 2 points in a variety of places. Oh, so close. I was thinking exactly that, but with the farmer on the other side, setting up not 1, but 2 threats to drop a road monastery and connect to a field. Not to the field, but to one of the fields. This idea is laudable, of course, but is super, super dangerous because the player with the blue meeple is not really that far behind. In fact, I'm pretty sure that blue is ahead a little bit. Yeah, and the issue is, of course, this idea. This square is completely blocked. There's absolutely nothing that goes there, and there were quite a few tiles to block there. And whereas if blue were to have gone over here, then first of all, this block would be not that dangerous because there's still a road monastery that can go all the way around. With 2 road monasteries in the deck, it's actually a safe bet, because in a board like this, you probably need at least 1 of the road monasteries to win the game anyway. And then there were all kinds of like sneaky ideas how we could get into the field that way. But that idea was quite difficult to see, so I'm not going to blame the Austrian for going over here. This seems to be, let's say, quite elaborate. Creating a farming platform in this area, which I'm not sure that this is what El Dudorino needs. Again, like, they're not behind. Their cities are scoring a lot. And they're quite likely to get a road monastery over here, which means that dremkad could go here and drop a farmer and anticipate the road monastery and try to connect. Yeah, so definitely the 0 pointer here is a bit regrettable, but still, chances for blue, chances for blue. This is what I would do if I were Sergio. I'm not really going to consider any other moves, like it's a straight line, does not have a lot of value. Actually, there are other things that you could do. You can just go here and score 4 points and then recover that road later. That's an idea. Yeah, and this is a very natural way of doing things. Mr. Dudorino does get the road monastery. I mean, he's going to go here for 6 points. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Poor Austrian. This is a classic case of a miscount. I mean, you sacrifice 7 points for no reason at all. The only reason, of course, is that he's thinking that there's a tile goes over here, which there isn't. There's nothing that goes over here. Everything's already blocked. This is not something that you want to do with 2.5 minutes remaining on your clock. So this is a classic case of miscounting the tiles and committing to the miscounts, unfortunately. And earlier to that, like, not realizing that blue was ahead. Blue could have won this game easily without doing anything extra. I guess blue can still win. Blue just needs the Road Monastery. Another one. Blue needs a second chance. Yeah. Exactly, Anaheim. A huge chunk of blue's win probability goes away by wasting the Road Monastery. It's really a lot of wasted tiles. Like this, okay, I can still understand it because it's some equity. But this, it's ouch, 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 ouch. And also the fact that it creates a platform for red to drop a farmer like this, and red can still connect here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's one of these crossroads remaining. So probably Mr. Dude will need to draw the Road Monastery and the crossroads. It's a lovely tile for the red guy. Probably going to score a little bit. I don't think that we can do all that much. We can also go here, but there's really not a lot of point in getting a meeple back. We can go here, meeple this ruin as well. This is actually quite nice. And then we're going to have a couple of road ends. Well, one goes over here for the connection, another goes over here for meeple recovery. So I'm going to say that the winning chances for the Austrian are 1 in 6 at the moment. But I think we need a more thorough count. Okay, so 5 points here cancel each other out, right? 3 points on the scoreboard cancel each other with this. Then the monastery is 8. The city is 4, that's 12. And this city is 6. That is 18. Oh. And red and blue I think is going to win, yeah. Because just blue drew the tile that goes over here. Dremkad will get a meeple back to score some extra. And blue I think will have just enough. Oh, it's a horrible tile though. The max you can do is 2 points in this area. And even those you have to find. Well, this city, of course, is huge, actually. I think blue is at +4 or some, no, +1 or something like that. Yeah, +3. Dremkad scores 7 here, and Dremkad wins. I think. Yeah, I think by 4 points or something around that area. And it seems to me that what decided the game was actually the last tile. If the tiles were reversed, then instead of blue scoring 2 and red scoring 7, blue would have scored 1 by going over here and cleaning off a city cap. And red would have scored 2 by going over here and meepling a little city piece. So let's see what the final score is. I'm not that quick at counting, but a win for Dremkad by a couple of points is what I expect it to be. Well, actually, it's more than a couple. So I didn't mean to be so dramatic when things were actually quite anticlimactic as they were. And the last tile didn't actually matter. Yeah, so unfortunately, blue getting the winning tiles, but just with this road monastery making his life so much more difficult than it had to be. Again, kind of banking too hard in this square. Like, blue had such a simple win. You go here with the monastery, and then you go here with another monastery. You build up. You don't need no fields. You don't need no nothing. But I noticed that many players at the expert level just tend to not notice opportunities for fieldless wins when there are some farms on the board, and they just tend to do, you know, the 2010s approach. The Central European style, where you just drop farmer after farmer and hope that your opponent does the same, and then you have 6 and your opponent has 5 and you win. These days, of course, such an approach is not going to fly. Well, anyways, Sergio is now the starting player. 4 points for scoring a little quick dumpling over here. And red already is spread out quite thin, but all these moves are justified. Actually, it's very efficient. So look, so red is building cities whilst also creating blocking platforms. And there are already only 3 tiles that fit into this square. They're going to be even fewer, possibly 0, once something goes above these 2 squares. So this move from blue is quite savvy. There's nowhere really on the board to score, and it restricts this square and also weakens this square a little bit. Generally in the opening, if you're not sure what to do, if you're familiar with the concept of the quality of squares, then you just need to decrease this quality of 2 of your opponent's squares. So, Duderino is getting his city back. This is nice for 10 points, starting a new road, which he pre-built for himself with this rodent, but a nice recovery tile for dremkad to equalize the game. Almost equalizing this road, finishing another city for 4 points, complete the equal position, slight advantage for red due to being the starting player and having 1 extra piece on the board. Mr. Antolinez now gonna go here, score 2 points, really the only reasonable move to play. I can't. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? Like, this farm is worth nothing. It's super closed. It's worth 3 points. Okay, it's maybe gonna be worth 6. This guy really does not have a lot of prospects. And you're also sacrificing 2 points, and you're sacrificing a chance to block your opponent. Yeah, Sergio's really not in his best shape today. I just only hope that they're physically okay. You know, maybe they're sick, maybe they're tired and still want to play. Maybe their mind is dealing with something. We will never know. So whatever Sergio's circumstances are, then we wish them all the best. Red, of course, is getting a monastery and expanding the field at that. Blue is trying to do some blocky stuff in this area. This is one option. Another option was to go over here, which is actually quite interesting, just covering up the field a little bit further. Red is invading the city of blue, and red is getting a lot of city caps. Slightly undeservedly, but whatevs. Duderino starting a new road, still equal on the scoreboard. Now with the curvy tile, we presume we're going to see a block against this square, or are we going to get greedy and go here for these 4 points and try to get 6 points road? This move is also interesting. I think it's just not urgent enough. Yeah, with these fields, so it's very, very tricky part of the game to know when you have to drop a farmer, and urgency is one of the criteria. And here there was no urgency because this farmer is fairly small. It has potential, but if it grows, it has plenty of invasion opportunities. So the moves of blue are fine. I just take issue with the move order. I would have made this move, the restriction move, first, and only then started thinking about farms. Ooh! Only 2 tiles that fit here. Only 2 tiles that fit here. Sophie's choice block. Now Mr. Antolinez will have trouble deciding whether to go here or not, because this could result into a full block of 3 meeples, the monastery, the city, and the complete blockage of the not so big farm. Red is starting a new city at the same time poking eyes at this here square. So I have no doubt that blue is going to counter that. Going here would be the standard idea. Going here would be the more low variance direct idea. A third option is to go over here and start to block the square. But honestly, I just would not touch it. This is awkward enough. This is honestly just not a good move. Like, why would you give your opponent tiles? This is a good tile. It does not really stop this meeple all that much. And you know that eventually, if your opponent's going to invade, this city is going to be worth at least 8 points. And so it's already worth invading, even if it's not going to be completed. Definitely from both players, we see a bit too lax of an attitude to shield the tiles. Whereas, you know, if you ask somebody like Vladimir, I mean, he cherishes each shielded tile like it's his child. Tries to use it for completable unshared cities. Yeah, and that's why, I mean, again, this move with a meeple would have been fine. This move, to me, is a bit more interesting because it's more flexible. Sometimes you can get double city caps, get an 8-pointer for your own, for yourself, and then try to restrict your opponent. This move, you see, is a negative consequence of not placing a meeple over here. Had blue placed a meeple over here, everything would have been fine. But now blue was forced to use this tile here when he could have used the road and elsewhere. And these sort of little inefficiency moments, they just accrue and pile up and accumulate and lead to losses. I think not enough players are scared of not scoring enough. Many Carcassonne games are lost simply because you just don't score enough. Not because your opponent scores too much, just because you yourself do not score enough. Sergio knows this, and Sergio doesn't mind spending his penultimate meeple on the monastery just because of how powerful a scoring machine it is. Now, Red wishes this farmer weren't here, because then we could realistically look at some stacking options. Oh, and isn't it interesting? Another decision for Red. At first I thought it's a wonderful tile. It goes here for 4 points for a road and 2 points for a city, so that's a 6-point move. But then going here is also interesting. Saving the monastery, leaving 2 tiles that go here, leaving many tiles that go here and expand the city. Now this is something worth looking into, and Sergio goes for the high variance approach. And the other triple city, the last triple city, has been immediately drawn by blue. So blue is just gonna not go over here, I think. Keep the mini battle, just get some more meeples back, equalize the scoreboard, and now try to finally turn his meeple majority into something tangible. But a fantastic tile for Sergio Antolinez, 4 points for the road, 1 point for the monastery, and preparing to get a meeple back. Blue now needs to do something about it, and this is certainly one of the options. Sergio is just gonna defend. And there's still plenty of tiles that fit into the square, and by plenty I mean 3. 1 sausage and 2 split sausages. How do you call these little sausages that they like give you in fancy parties? You know, like the super little ones where the dimensions are almost equal. I'm thinking of something like this. Anyway, dremkad covers up, of course. They needed to count tiles before doing anything, and with successful counting they determined what is what. Duderino is still in a good position. Really good, actually. A monastery tile. Could go here for a 6-pointer. Then try to set up a coin flip for the last starting tile. But this, I think, is better for 5. Please don't just take the road. Yes, that's wonderful. Dreamy is now going to need to decide between completing his own monastery, continuing his own monastery, or obstructing blues. With strong preferences for the latter. Like if you just go here, you don't allow your opponent to draw and place one of the 3 remaining monasteries in this area. It'd be quite a powerful block. And when it comes to this square, from Red's perspective, you don't really want to be using a tile like this. You want to be using specifically a road Dorito, even though there's only one of those remaining. So you get yourself the extra monastery point, and then you don't leave another city piece, which you have to contend with later on. I mean, this tile will do. It's still 1 point. But preventing the side with such a daunting meeple advantage from scoring seems like top priority to me, and Sergio realizes that. Thank you so much, Matt. Yes, cocktail sausage that I was thinking this. So this is like one big proper sausage, and this is like two cocktail sausages. All right, Duderino scoring 4 points. The side effect is inadvertently expanding the field, also creating a monastery spot somewhere in that area for a road monastery. And look how powerful this move was. Can you just imagine what kind of havoc blue would wreak if they were to go here? But they can't. In the meantime, Sergio gets the 1-pointer over here, sets up a bunch of interesting things, sets up a splitter for him to get a city, sets up a road for either side to score. Maybe blue is going to go over here, prevent that road from being scored. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and would you look at that. Reds finishes a city, finishes a monastery, start a new city which could even be completed, and is now ahead massively on the scoreboard. And also blue wins the coin flip, so blue would have gotten the 6 points. Of course, not something that blue would have known. Yeah, the sad reality here for the play with the red meeples, the Austrian doesn't even have a meeple advantage anymore, and no real chances, I think. You would need to get a couple of meeples back. Maybe we go here. We drop a farmer, perhaps. We look for a city cap. We have a 9-point field. Then we try to get a little bit of something in these areas. Then we try to invade the main field. I don't know. We need a bunch of meeples for this. We need a lot of meeples to accomplish all these goals. And we need a lot of city plus field tiles, which we frankly just do not have. Yeah, this move is lovely. This is close to the best, to what blue can do. But without meeples, and again, we see the prematurity of this here 6-point farmer, which ended up not really being developed into anything. The prematurity which leads to suffering on the meeple front, but this is a lovely effort. Trying to get a curve over here, expand the field, getting this one extra city into the field, and at the same time score a little bit for the monastery. Dream, you can just go here. Yeah, exactly. This shuts down the field right up. Blue can go here, start a new city. This is the wisest that I can come up with. And the city is in his field. And we can still get a crossroads here, maybe? We can, in fact. And we can get a straight line here. So if we get a lot of quick points, then we can do things. This move I also like. Let's gamble, why not? This might be even better to just hope to draw the city cap before it is drawn by dremkad. And in the meantime, we're keeping one meeple for some coin flips, like if we get a road monastery to score a little bit, if we get a crossroads, if we get a straight line, or some other things. Hi, Juanlock. Matt is saying that blue can attack the central field from the west. This is true. Here, for example, well, not anymore, right? But it was a possibility. It was a possibility for show. And what was I going to say? The only bottleneck is just the meeples, right? Because blue would need multiple to do that. Now, this tile is interesting, and you're going to ask yourself, how hard do you want to gamble? We could go over here and start a new city, but this would block this square and give us no chance to recover the monastery. Or we could go over here and try to unify everything, and then we have two options. We either draw one of the two horses, the cows, sorry, one of the two cows, the triple cities. the triple cities that would connect from here to here. Or this is perfectly fine. Unlike last game, it's actually good use of a shielded tile because it does not allow points to your opponents, it does not allow meeple back. In fact, yeah, I think it's better than pretty much most alternatives. That's a lovely spot here from the Austrian, a very disciplined one at that. But yeah, I was thinking that maybe, yes, and look at this. A 12-point move, 8 for the city, 1 for the monastery, 3 for the farm. 8 points behind still, which is still quite steep, and possibly even more so after this move, but still fighting, All right, so now what do we do? We might want to restrict this square, yes. We still might want to draw like a city cap to get a meeple back. Dreamy probably gonna go here. Or maybe here, just to get a point for something. Still leaving the city cap intact as it is in his field. And then if a crossroads is drawn here, and a vanilla city cap is drawn here, of which there is one remaining, then Mr. Dude is going to have a couple of meeples to do some interesting things. So for example, you could get the last triple city tile, the last cow, go like this, drop a farmer here, then hope to get the last cocktail sausages, go here and connect to the field like this, whilst getting the extra point for the city. This probably would be enough to win. So blue still has chances, it's just contingent on very particular tiles. Most of them city plus field tiles, all the city plus field tiles. Also, I just noticed that, of course, there's only, yeah, this is the last set of cocktail sausages remaining. Lovely move here from Dreamy, covering up this field invasion. Blue also covering up the field invasions against himself. And finally, a lovely tile. But what do we do with it? What do we do with it? I guess we go here, of course. We do want to get the meeple back, and then we try to do something else, right? A meeple is a meeple is a meeple, no? We can still connect to the main field. We can still hope for something like a straight line plus the vanilla, and that we don't get blocked. That would work, I guess. But we only would have 2 moves remaining. Yep, exactly. Okay, getting a meeple back. Oh, Dreamy though, with the clutch pull. The 7-pointer is gonna hurt, as well as eliminating the field connection platform. Well, the road monastery looks pretty good. Probably is not gonna cut it. And it seems to me that blue needed to pull the monastery in a different order, right? He needed to, first of all, pull some sort of road tile, go here, then get to the road monastery, meeple it, and then connect to the 12-point field. Yeah, the 7 points are going to be too much. Of course, this move is the high-scoring move available. Sergio is going to score 0 with this, and then Mr. Dude's going to go here for 5, 2 for the monasteries, and 3 for this little city. For farming this little city, that is. So this is what we expect. This is going to get quite close. Blue, for example, is still ahead on the field. Blue has 15 points and red has 12, so this sort of makes things even, right? So here are the 15 in these areas and here are the 12. And blue is even ahead on the monasteries with these here guys versus this here guy. And blue is ahead in this mini battle 2 against 1. So this is something, it's just that this city construction is a little bit too much to deal with. A little bit too much to deal with. Yep, so here's the move. Here is the 5-pointer. Dremkad gets finally the crossroad, which is going to give him 4. So honestly, the best possible tile run out, pretty much, for blue. And even that is not going to be enough. Or so I guesstimate. Still, the difference is going to be under 10 points for sure. I will be colored surprised with anything short of that. With anything over that, that is. Alright, so shared features are being scored. 7 points for the North Monastery from red. And the city was worth 9. Yeah, like a healthy field. 8 points for a blue monastery and a 5 point for a blue monastery brings blue close. And blue, in fact, is going to have a little bit extra from the fields. 12 for Dreamy, 9 for Dude, and 6 more from the north as well. And just 5 points. Just 5 points is the final difference. And Sergio Antolinez will prevail, finally scoring their first victory in the tournament. Colombia 2, Austria 0. Still solid performance from El Dudorino in his first year, and he still has one more round to try and do something. I felt like in both games he came pretty close, and the Colombian did give some unnecessary chances, so something to think about for Sergio in the future here. Yeah, overall, this farm, which looked very, very dubious at the start, just kind of got the perfect sequences to untangle itself. And that's why I was thinking, maybe, like, when you have, let's just try and roll this back. Imagine there's a meeple here, there's a meeple here, and these squares are not yet filled. When Vladimir Kovalov used to stream, he would say sometimes that if you need to block your opponents in 2 places, it's better to block nowhere. Because when you have 2 vulnerable squares, then it is quite difficult to untangle. So as soon as we place this tile over here, and it's a pretty good tile, it has quite a high success rate when it comes to blocking, but we still leave our opponent options to draw something like this and like immediately consolidate. The point is, the only way how our opponents can protect both meeples is by placing something over here. And the only way we can allow them to do that is by creating a platform for blocking. Because remember, platform for blocking is also a platform for defense. So I think just leaving them alone could have probably resulted into a better outcome for the Austrian. This is, of course, something that is quite difficult to realize, and frankly, in some of my games, the situation dictates that I would even do such blocking moves myself. Like, it's not a mistake necessarily. It just ended up working completely perfectly for red. Alrighty. So congratulations to our Colombian fans, commiserations to the Austrian fans. Let's do a bit of a next day preview before we leave. First of all, tournament situation wise, nothing changes all that much. Sergio is now closer to the middle of the pack with a 3-1 record. Duderinho now probably sharing the 28th place with Sergas of Brazil. Next, tomorrow, we have quite a few matches, but I will be able to show you only one. The Korean expert Cherry Papa versus the Portuguese Master Glovier at 11 UTC. This one's quite interesting because both players have good chances for qualifying for the playoffs. And really, this match is probably for the playoffs. Especially, we're quite interested in the performance of the Korean expert. This is their first ever participation, and so far they seem to be doing quite well. So I'm gonna see you there at 11 UTC. Then further streams will be announced at a short notice. If you want to keep track of the further streams, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more competitive Carcassonne content like this, and click the bell notification icon. The stream announcements are as fast-paced as the tournament itself. Meeple the like button, of course. If you liked anything about this stream, it is most useful for the algorithm. And if you want to support this channel long-term, then consider becoming a channel member. As a thank you, you get to unlock some cool Carcassonne emojis. That's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.